What's on your mind?
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop.
What do you think?
Oh, that's right. What do you think this morning? I think it's Friday. It's Friday. Hallelujah. We made it to Friday. Another week in the books. That's right. You know, one of the things about life to me is always looking back at what you have accomplished and what you're trying to accomplish moving forward. Sometimes the two don't look so good together. But anyways, that's life, as Frank Sinatra used to say. And I've had a pretty good week. We've had some great interviews here this week. Started out this week with Dr. Kim with some excellent information about symptoms of heart attacks, all that good conversation. Of course, he's a cardiologist right here at Self Regional and cardiac services. And so we had an excellent conversation with him, and I appreciate that. Started out the week with that Tuesday evening. Oh, and the big thing that he wanted to talk about, that we did talk about, that you may be interested to go back and check out, would be the fact of new medications out there that are making a big difference for people. So if you're dealing with heart issues, you might want to go back and check that podcast out. That is on our website. Also, I believe on A Girl and Her Mic. I'm so excited about this. A Girl and Her Mic on Spotify and iTunes. So it's a great place if you just want to listen and don't want to see all the video, Penny, etc. Okay, you can see it that way too. So anyways, check that one out. And it was a good conversation. So that was Tuesday night. Of course, the moratorium was put in effect. That was a big success for the people of Greenwood, So that was great. Wednesday moved on. Wednesday afternoon, we had... Who did we have with us Wednesday afternoon? I had it in my brain, and now I forgot. Who did I have here Wednesday afternoon? Oh, yes, I had Ron Adderford and Ken Coffey talking about fruits, or what is it, pickles for heroes, fruits, all this, his story, Ron Adderford. And it was a great story of a veteran succeeding over odds, how he made it through life. And he brought up such a good point that I want us to consider futuristically. I think this is something we don't think about. But the very fact that a lot of young people go into the military, they don't have any real life experience other than living under their parents' roof, etc. And when they come out of the military, they're kind of just, well, as he said, dumped out. And the reason that so many, about 19%, end up homeless is because they don't have the life skills to deal with what life throws at you. So I think that is something to be considered and something that could be worked on. Ron certainly is a fascinating life that he has had. He's been in some great places at some great times, but he's also been able to offer a whole lot of help. And canning over 6,000 jars certainly is a testament to that. So that was Wednesday afternoon. Again, that's all on all our podcast sources right there. And then yesterday afternoon, we had Daniel Gibson on with us, Representative Daniel Gibson, talking about the wins, the losses, and how it is to be in Columbia during the session. Of course, he is up for re-election also, so he is going to be pursuing that and hopes to go back and has things to work on next year. So really a power-packed week of interviews and learning. That's right. So here we are today. It's Friday. I'm glad it's Friday. And let's go ahead and check on the weather. Penny and I have already been out there this morning. I can say this, soggy. That would be my one word, soggy. Right now, it is 69 degrees out there. And, it was so refreshing to be outside, wasn't it? 69 degrees, feels like 69. We're expecting a high of 80 today and a low of 70. Thunderstorms during the morning will give way to cloudy skies this afternoon, high around 80, winds light and variable. Locally, heavy rainfall is possible. Might be sprinkling out there now. I'm not sure. I was out there and I was afraid it was going to start raining, so we had to hurry Penny along in her daily sniff and potty break. I really am amazed. Penny is so adaptable. I think she's more adaptable than I would have ever been. She has just become a champ. I mean, we get up, we go outside, boom, bam, we do our business, we come back in. We know that the next thing is a treat and then up to the chair to get ready for the show. So I really think she has done a great job on that. All right, so Friday, Saturday, 86 is going to be the high, low of 71. We are going to drop down to about a 25% chance of some showers, and looks like humid is coming back in, high of 86. Sunday, a high of 88, low of 71, about a 30% chance of showers, mix of clouds and sun in the morning, giving way to a few showers during the afternoon. And to start the week off, we're right back up there, 93 degrees, folks, and a low of 73, although the rain will be basically gone. Tuesday, just FYI, I just happened to glance ahead, 96 is the high, and that's probably going to be the high for the week, but we will be in the low 90s for the rest of the week. It's going to be hard to go back to school when it's so hot. I mean, I know we have air conditioning, all that good stuff, but it's got to still be hard to go back with it being so warm. So, what else have we got on the agenda today? We got a lot to talk about here today. So let's get started on it right now. Right now. Okay. We've got. I want to talk about there is at the Savannah River site a proposal for a data center, and John McCravey had been talking about that would be an excellent place for one, and looks like maybe he had some inside intel, because it looks like there is going to be one going right down there. So we will talk about that. We also are going to be announcing our winner of Breakfast for a Bunch with Chick-fil-A and WCRS. So I think that's going to be exciting when I announce that. You'll have to stay tuned for that. So what else do we have here this morning? We also have Penny Loves People section, where she has a story or two about animals that she thinks that people will love. So Penny Loves People section will be coming up in just a few minutes. And what else do I have? Oh, yes. Mark Sanford has decided, former House of Representative member, former governor, and former on the Appalachian Trail, heading down to South America for a little love session. He's decided he wants to be the next senator from South Carolina. So we'll be talking a little bit about that. Mark Sanford was famous. When anybody thinks of Mark Sanford, well, now they think about the Appalachian Trail. But before that, he was famous for taking two pigs into the congressional offices, congressional places down there in Colombia. So that's what he was famous for. I wonder what ideas he'll have if he ends up going to be the next senator. So that is another thing that we're going to be talking about. So let's get started with some of these stories. I am actually really excited about this story about, let's see if I got it right here, story about having a data center at the Savannah River site. Savannah River site is getting a 1 gigawatt data center as feds are ready to pick the developer. I guess this is from the state newspaper. The federal government will partner with a private company. The federal government will partner with a private company to build a large data center and corresponding energy generation at the Savannah River site, the National Nuclear Security Administration announced in a news release Monday. The U.S. Department of Energy chose Antinum, a private engineering company, to build a 1 gigawatt data center and 2 gigawatts of on-site energy at the federal site in southwest South Carolina. The generation will be natural gas, bridging to nuclear energy, according to the news release. This proposed partnership represents an opportunity to strengthen America's leadership in artificial intelligence, expand reliable energy generation, and strengthen our nation's security, said Brandon Williams, a National Nuclear Security Administration administrator, in a news release. A final lease agreement has not yet been struck for the project, though. Antinum was selected to enter negotiation for a phased lease and expected to work with partners to develop the data center and on-site energy generation. The data center will likely be one of the largest in South Carolina. More than 20 data centers, the physical infrastructure needed to power AI and other digital services, have been built or are planned in the state. So we already have 20 data centers. Then this one will be a huge one. So the data center will be likely the largest. South Carolina residents have pushed back against hosting the AI infrastructure in their community, and several others have considered or passed moratoriums, and of course Greenwood is one of them. The goal of the Savannah River site project is to build out new data center infrastructure without costing utility ratepayers, according to the news release. You know, we as humans are always slightly suspicious when the government gets involved. I'm just saying. I don't know exactly. All I can know is this is what has put out. And let's hope that it is all that they say it will be. The end user of the data center has also not been determined, and the chosen developer will pay for the project. The Savannah River site was one of 4 federal locations selected last summer to help develop a data center. So looks like they are also looking at the department, also the Idaho National Laboratory, Oak Ridge Reservation, and Paducah Gaseous Diffusion Plant. And there are other 16 sites under consideration. So I guess we would have to say, according to this is a big win for South Carolina to be the chosen site. Now, the good news is it's not in any of our backyards. The good news is it is on a site that should not cause any problems. The only problems that it might cause, of course, would be to animals, etc. But all the things that we have been concerned about in Greenwood County and have been concerned about across the other counties in South Carolina being at the Savannah River site down there would not be a problem. So maybe this is a good thing. Time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see and get more details. But I did want to bring that up because I think that is very, very important and something we should all know. All right, so that takes care of the Savannah River site. A lot of you were questioning why Theo Lane was not the chairman the other night, and in an article in the Index Journal, it says that he had been traveling. He had been traveling and did not feel up to speed for this meeting. So that is what Theo Lane said. Of course, Dane Pruitt, who is vice chairman, said that he had some issues that had not allowed him to be up to speed. Lane had been traveling, and Pruitt had personal matters that limited their ability to prepare to preside, and Templeton explained that temporary leadership role by saying neither one of them, Lane nor Pruitt, really had time to prepare for what was coming. Templeton said, since I am the senior member of council and had done this before, we knew it was going to be a large crowd, and we knew we needed the meeting to run smoothly. So that is why Robbie Templeton was running the meeting Tuesday night, which is good to have that explanation because I don't think it was really explained during the meeting. So I will say that there certainly has been a outpouring of support for the citizens, for the Facebook group that started as a Facebook group that really has become quite a force in developing and making sure that information has gotten out there about our community, about the things that people needed to be aware of. I wanted to make sure I get their name right. It's a Citizens for, let's see, I've got it right here, so let me see if I can get to that right now, because I really think that they have done an excellent job of keeping everybody in the know, but also they have been very gracious in making sure that everybody understands what should come next, how people can get involved, and yes, it's called the GC Residents for Responsible Growth. The GC Residents for Responsible Growth. They certainly have been very gracious about making sure to be professional, and that is one of the things that I think is really great about this group. It says, if you would like to continue to follow and participate in promoting positive growth initiatives for Greenwood County, please follow our Facebook group. And that is, of course, the GC Residents for Responsible Growth. They have a Facebook page. They're also very active in a lot of other ways to make sure that you can find out about them. So I hope that people will continue to support this group and to get involved in it. Now, that takes care of that. Be part of this group. If it wasn't for the hard work of this group, I truly feel we may not have been with a moratorium. And I know that once people got engaged and found out about what was coming and all the aspects to it, that they were the motivators that created this energy, this positive energy to get engaged with the government. Our local government, Greenwood County government. I would think it would extend also to Greenwood City government if such a need arises. So this is a big deal. as we move forward, there's going to be the opportunity to be involved in ways of finding out more information about data centers, panels, etc. And it really is going to, I guess, start with county council to start the process of getting people together to do that. Now, I would like to address the meeting that they had the other night about the strategic plan. Now, while I'm not doing this from direct knowledge, I did have some people go by there and who had the time to go by and check it out. And I'm a little disappointed. This is a personal commentary from Ann Eller. I'm a little disappointed in the fact that they just really, it was a survey. My feeling from what they were talking about, I thought it was going to be an engaged, energetic meeting of an exchange of ideas. But what I found out is that you simply went by and read the questions, and then, as my source tells me, they had sticky notes and you wrote your answers on a sticky note. And I guess the group that is responsible for getting this information together on the strategic plan that was hired by the county to do this, then we'll take that information back. I wonder, and this is just me wondering out loud here, I wonder if it wouldn't have been as effective or maybe more effective, since that was the approach, that they didn't, just ask for people to email them their email to sign up for this survey that they were asking. Because I know several people who went to that meeting who were disappointed in the fact that it was not going to be a sit down and an exchange of ideas, such as sometimes those type of meetings are. I only mention that because I think it has a valid criticism of the meeting. And this was supposed to be the only input. Now, maybe they will change their opinion. Maybe they won't. I don't know how much input they got. I haven't heard anything more about it. But it would seem that if they wanted to get more information, that maybe it should have been A, promoted a little different, or B, that there could be more different ways to reach the folks to get them to participate. So, I'm Ann Eller right here this morning with Penny. Penny, how you doing over there, Penny? She goes, it's raining outside and I am perfectly comfortable wrapped up here in my bed. So there she is, wrapped up in her bed. All right, before we move on to another topic, I think we should go ahead and give Penny Loves People's story. That's right, the Penny Loves People's story. So let's scroll back over here. It is Jimothy. I'm sure by now you may have heard about Jimothy the raccoon because Jimothy has become quite a celebrity. Now, if you've seen him on social media or maybe even on TV, you'll notice that he has what they're saying is a shortened spine, so that it's a defect actually, but he has, it makes him look like he doesn't have much of a neck. Instead of people making fun of him, they've fallen in love with him. So this is where a defect, a birth defect, has turned into actually something very positive. So millions have watched videos of Jimothy waddling through neighborhoods, and now, believe it or not, he's getting his own bobblehead. Can you believe this? Jimothy the bobblehead. Penny, this was an excellent story. Yes, but I'd like to get my own bobblehead too someday. Oh, okay. So, Jimothy reminds us that being a little different isn't a bad thing, and I think that is so true. They also, let's see, where is the rest of this story? They also... Yes, okay, let me find, I'm trying to find what I was looking for. To unveil the first bobblehead of Jimothy, Seattle's newest hometown hero who has a growing fan base across the nation. The National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and museum co-founder, CEO Phil Scarr said in a news post on the organization's website, "This bobblehead will be the perfect way for fans of Jimothy to show off their love and support for the pop culture icon and celebrate Jimothy summer." So, and the National Bobblehead, this is what I wanted to find. Since Penny pointed this article out to me, she puts her paw on the computer and says, "Stop, look at this story. I like this story." And so we have to stop and look at this story. Okay, so Google on Thursday. This is huge. If Google gets involved in it, it is huge. They started they did an animated Jimothy feature in its search results. The animation shows Jimothy running across the screen, and a paw icon appears at the bottom of the page. Clicking it gives Jimothy another run across the screen. As of 5:30 Thursday, more than 6.2 million people had clicked the paw. 6.2 million. Now, here's my question for you, and this is Penny. I guess you'd like to know the answer to this, too. What's Jimothy getting out of this? Yeah, what's Jimothy getting out of this? I once had somebody when we were doing training with Penny explain to me that she goes, "Ann, you don't give Penny enough TREATS." And I was like, well, she doesn't need one of those to do what things she does all the time. And she looked at me and she goes, "Well, how would you like to be doing a job and not getting paid for it?" I just kind of looked at her. I said, "I do that every day." Anyways, so my question here today is, what is Jimothy getting out of this? Is he getting a cushy place to sleep? Is he just left out in the wild? Is somebody else going to try to trap him and then make a mint off of him? What's going to happen to Jimothy? Should he not have a cushy lifestyle? Penny, what do you think? I think so. Anyways, I'm Ann Eller. This is WCRS Radio. We are going to take a quick commercial break here for you, so I hope you'll stay right here with us and not go away. When I come back, we got more stories to talk about. A little bit more about Mark Sanford, a event coming up this weekend, which I think is so great, and more right here on the I Love Ann Show. Coffee Talk on a Friday afternoon. No, it's a Friday morning, and it's just Friday morning. We'll be right back. Take it away. Yes, here we go. An American 250 revolutionary moment. As America celebrates its 250th birthday, let's meet 4 South Carolinians who helped change the course of history. They were Thomas Hayward Jr., Thomas Lynch Jr., Arthur Middleton, and Edward Rutledge. They were among the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence, pledging their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor for American liberty. But signing the Declaration wasn't simply adding their names to a document. It was an act of treason against the British Crown, a decision that could cost them everything. Yet they stood with their fellow delegates and boldly declared that the American colonies were and of right ought to be free and independent states. The story begins on June 7, 1776, when Virginia delegate Richard Henry Lee introduced what became known as the Lee Resolution before the Second Continental Congress. It called for the colonies to break their allegiance to Great Britain and declare themselves independent. South Carolina was well represented. Haywood, Middleton, and Rutledge were already serving in Congress. They were joined by Thomas Lynch Jr., who traveled to Philadelphia after his father, Thomas Lynch Sr., suffered a stroke. Over the next several weeks, Thomas Jefferson drafted what would become the Declaration of Independence. Congress debated every word before approving the final text on July 4, 1776. Nearly a month later, on August 2nd, the delegates gathered in Philadelphia to sign the historic document. The sacrifices of South Carolina signers did not end there. Thomas Lynch Jr. and his wife were lost at sea. During the British siege of Charleston in 1780, Haywood, Middleton, and Rutledge were captured and imprisoned in St. Augustine, Florida. They remained prisoners until they were exchanged in July of 1781. After the war, they returned home to help rebuild both South Carolina and the young nation they had risked everything to create. Rutledge later became governor of South Carolina. Their signatures on the Declaration were more than ink on parchment. They were promises of courage, sacrifice, and an unwavering belief that freedom was worth the cost. And 250 years later, the legacy of South Carolina's four signers continues to remind us that the birth of our nation was shaped by ordinary men who made extraordinary choices. This is WCRS Radio, sharing the voice of 1776, brought to you by WCRS Radio and the Issaquena Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution.
Self Regional Healthcare is currently hiring for clinical and support staff positions. At Self Regional, we strive to create the best experience for our patients and our team members. We offer flexible schedules, competitive pay, and generous benefits in an environment that is supportive of your individual needs. Come see what makes Self Regional a great place to work. View our current job openings at selfregional.org/careers.
Hi, this is Brantley with Greenwood Chick-fil-A. Nominate your office, teachers, church group, or team for breakfast for a bunch with WCRS. We love surprising and delighting our Greenwood community. Call or text 864-332-9355. It would be our pleasure. Call or text 864-332-9355 for breakfast for a bunch with WCRS.
Hello! Want to leave a voice message during a show? Have a news tip or event to report? Use the new WCRS tip line, 864-332-9355. Text or voice, I'll be sure to get it right here on WCRS. Again, 864-332-9355. Oh, that's right. We are right back here at WCRS Radio, and I am excited to be here today. It is Friday. Judy Davis celebrating our 61st wedding anniversary today. Woohoo! Congratulations, Judy. That is an accomplishment with the same man. Congratulations. That is awesome. I think that is deserving of a little treat from Chick-fil-A. So, if you will message me your address, I will send you a coupon for a Chick-fil-A special here this morning. How about that? Just message me and do it on Facebook, or go to, you can call or text at 864-332-9355. Send me your address, Judy, and I am going to send you a nice surprise from WCRS and Chick-fil-A. So congratulations. Happy anniversary, and may you have many, many more. Woo! That's terrific. Send me that address so I can send you a special thank you for letting us know, and congratulations for 61 years. And of course, they never had a fight, right, Judy? You know, one of the things that's interesting, and I don't know where this came from. I'm going off script here now. I'm just going to be on uncharted territory. Is, let's see, what was it on? One of the news shows. I saw it this morning on another news show. Is sleeping arrangements because of noise. And are certain things no-go on sleeping arrangements? Now, I mean, I think everybody can understand a CPAP machine, but some of the things that they've talked about, woo! So what is your deal breaker? Do you have a deal breaker if with your partner if they start doing something that you go, go into the other room, or better, or even worse, that's it, we're done? Also was an interesting story this morning on the news about farting. I just thought I'd throw that one in there, too. I don't know how that relates. But anyways, I thought I'd throw that one in there, too. So everything from eating in bed, somebody said no cats in bed. I don't know about dogs, but no cats in bed. CPAP machines, snoring, you name it, the gamut of things that cause people problems. But then there's always some of the most interesting ones. If you have a deal breaker for having somebody sleep with you, what is it? What is the deal breaker? All right, I'd love to know. 864-332-9355. Or, of course, you can answer right here on Facebook Live on WCRS Radio, because we are live right now on Facebook. All right, so now we need to have... Oh, my God, I got to check this. Oh, my God, I've got to check this story out. I can't do it right now. I hope it's there when I come back. Now it is time for Breakfast for a Bunch, our latest winner. So let me get over here to our latest winner is the nurses at the nursing staff at National Healthcare NHC Greenwood. The job they do work. They do the time. They put in excellent care to the people there. This was submitted by Chip, and we thank you, Chip, for doing that. You, of course, will be getting a special gift card from Chick-fil-A, and the nursing staff over there at NHC will be enjoying Breakfast for a Bunch. Congratulations to everyone that has been participating. By the way, all you got to do is go to 864-332-9355 to be able to qualify for Breakfast for a Bunch. And I certainly hope that Judy will be sending me that address so that we can congratulate her on her 61st anniversary today. Congratulations again, Judy. So, what else do we have here to talk about here this morning? Oh, I wanted to talk about, jump back in to something a little more serious, because that's the way we roll here on WCRS. I wanted to talk about Mark Sanford jumping into the race. What do you think about Mark Sanford jumping into the race? You know, I think one of the things that is going to become very apparent first on Mark Sanford. He indicated that he might be interested in doing this. He has now, I believe, jumped into the race. He says that he's a two-term South Carolina governor, presidential candidate, and two-time U.S. congressman. Says that he felt that, here's an interesting fact first. Did you know that Lindsey Graham was the godfather of Sanford's youngest son, Blake Sanford? So he is filing, I think he already he has filed already his paperwork, or no, he's going to file it on Monday. Excuse me, I'm confused on the date. He's going to file it on Monday, but he says Lindsay's death, this is a quote, is a reminder to all of us how short and precious life is, Sanford said in his clip. My own dad got Lou Gehrig's disease when I was in high school, and this notion of all of us having just a little time has always hit hard. We're stewards of our lives and the things we love for just a short time, Sanford added. I'm now a dad and a granddad, and I'm worried for our children because for the first time, America's borrowing from the future faster than we're building it. So, according to Sanford, this is from a news release, the federal government is adding about $1 trillion to the national debt over the next 100 days. If left unaddressed, according to Sanford, that debt will crush our economy. So our ability to afford things, inflation, and the way people struggle to build a life are but symptoms of spending beyond our means as a country. That, according to him, is his basis for running. So he goes, I was ranked first in all Congress in effort to protect your wallet or pocketbook, Sanford said. As a governor, we held the line on spending, as no governor before or since has ever done. Yeah, when you take pigs into the chambers, that kind of has a sobering effect on everything, doesn't it? So he is running for this office. I don't know how many people we now have running for office, but one thing I was surprised to read, and I hadn't really paid much attention to it, was he said that what was he, fourth in the coming in on the race for in the recent election for governor, for was it governor? Yeah, for governor. And then Sanford rebranded his fall from grace, winning a special election to the first district he'd held prior to becoming governor. Then he decided to run for the U.S. Senate, and then he decided he was going to run for Lindsey Graham's seat. So I didn't realize that he had come in fourth in that election. I was a little surprised about that. After the primary, that's where he fell, even though he had withdrawn his name from the list. He still came in fourth, which is pretty darn huge for somebody who had not campaigned and taken his name off the list. So that's a little update about Sanford. So Mark Sanford is now going to put his name in the hat. Here's the thing that I believe. I believe that this will make sure that we have a runoff. So we have the primary coming up, and then with the number of people that are in the race, I think it's going to be very difficult for one person to get 50% or more. Right now, Ralph Norman is leading the pack, but he's still not over 50%. I think last thing I saw was like in the 34%. But it'll be very hard for one person. So most likely we will be going for a runoff on that election. Who will be the runoff candidates? I have no idea. I did want to bring that up, though. Tuesday is the last day. We should have the field set as of Tuesday, the 28th, which I might add is also Lindsey Graham's funeral in Washington, D.C. And then on the 29th, his funeral they will be having one in Columbia, and then a private burial, I believe, in Pickens. So that is what is happening there. Interesting to note. So lots of people interested in going to the Senate. And all the while are the appointed candidate to fulfill the term, or appointed senator, is, of course, Darlene Graham Nodine is saying that she's in the race too. So it's going to be interesting times. All right. I'm Ann Eller. Let's go on and talk about one final thing that I thought was most interesting is that Fusion Jiu-Jitsu to host a charity kickboxing event. Fusion Jiu-Jitsu will hold a community charity event Saturday aimed at supporting Next Level Lifestyles, a Greenwood nonprofit has spent nearly 2 decades mentoring local teenagers through leadership, development, education, fitness, and a positive role. Many of you know that this is led by Jamar Hoot Harrison, who mentors with leadership, training, educational opportunities, and getting involved in community outreach as well as physical fitness. So they are having this event. It begins Saturday at 5 p.m. at Fusion Jiu-Jitsu, which is located near Sports Break. The partnership is designed to introduce young people involved with next level lifestyles to martial arts while raising awareness of the nonprofit's mission. Through sponsorship, Fusion Jiu-Jitsu has raised several $1,000s to provide training gear and financial support to the organization. So, Aspern Butler said, who is the owner of Fusion Jiu-Jitsu, I've always wanted to build something in Greenwood because I believe in this town. So I think this is pretty cool. This is from the Index Journal. I think this is great. So this will be happening. Saturday's event will feature remarks from sponsors as well as Harrison and Butler before participants take part in an hour-long kickboxing seminar. The sessions will cover basic footwork, striking techniques, and combinations designed to build confidence while teaching practical skills. So there is the donated training equipment will allow Next Level Lifestyles to continue to incorporating martial arts into its existing fitness programs long after the seminar concludes. I just wanted to highlight this. I think this is a terrific partnership of people coming together for our youth. I think Hoot has been quietly, he's been a guest on our show. I really should have him back to see what's happened in a year. But he has been quietly helping young people, I'll use these words, get with the program. And he's done a great job with it. And I'm excited to see how this it's not a partnership, but the sponsorship and what the next level will be for Next Level Lifestyles with Hoot Harrison and what Fusion Jiu-Jitsu is bringing. So I just encourage everybody to support these if you can. I think they are both worthwhile organizations, and maybe you can go by and check it out. That is Saturday at 5. So there you go. There are oodles of things, as we always have going on. But I think I am going to have to say we're going to say adieu. And what did Judy give me her at? Oh, I already got Judy's address here. I've got to check that out. We'll be sending her a gift from Chick-fil-A for telling us 61 years. So thank you very much for playing along here this morning, and congratulations, Judy. Thanks for sharing that so much. All right. We've talked about data centers. We've talked about who our guests were this week. We hope you will go back and check out some of this valuable information that we try to put out to you every day right here on WCRS. You can do that by going to my new site on Spotify and iTunes. That is A Girl and Her Mic that shows a really cute picture of Penny and I. Yes, it's true. A Girl and Her Mic. So check that out. That's where all the audio is. Of course, you can always check out our Facebook page if you want to see the videos, as well, which is WCRS 1450am.net. So let's wind it up and know that starting next week, I've already got some ad buys in my hopper here. You'll start hearing from the candidates who are running for Lindsey Graham's seat. So I hope you'll stay tuned with us right here. I hope you will continue to support and be positive for our community. Because as Penny says, kindness goes a long way. Yes, it does. So keep the kindness rolling. Try to get along as hard as it is, and keep it positive, Greenwood. That's going to do it for Penny and me. Let's take one last look at Penny. Yep, that's it. She goes, can we get out of here? Yes, Penny, we can. That's going to do it for us. This is WCRS right here in Greenwood. Drop the curtain, cue the music. Have a great weekend. I'll be back tomorrow morning, so make sure you tune in for music and coffee talk. And we'll be doing our little half-hour Coffee Talk live show before we jump into the music tomorrow morning, starting at 9:30 to 10, then music from 10 to 12:30. Take it away.